You can do anything you want in life, and you're going to learn more about that tonight. If you're willing to change, and you believe in something, and you do what's necessary to make it happen. So the message for you that came through the envelope is to learn ways in your life that you can embrace change more. And instead of feeling bumped by it, you know, I spent so many hours on the deathbeds of my patients, and what I learned was all the regrets they had about what they didn't do in life because they just didn't think they could, or they were afraid, or whatever. So I know you've embraced a lot of change already, but just a thought that embrace it even more. We can all do more, right? Anybody in here could embrace change more? Yes. Only half. Come on. Anybody in here can embrace change more? Yeah, all of us. All of us. It's a message for all of us. Thank you for the question. Let's see. I'm going to have to be fair going around the room. There's a guy in the far back in a blue shirt. Yes, you. They're coming with a mic. Tell us your name and your question, sir.
My name is Philip, and thanks for this great opportunity to have us all here.
Thank you, Philip. Do I know you?
Yeah, we've met through Schultz. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Nice to see you, Philip.
My question is so I wear contacts.
Yes.
And I have a lot of my friends getting the operation so they can see in different things.
Yes.
I was wondering if there's a possibility to somehow heal the eye naturally.
Yes. Have you done the eye wash?
No, I have not.
With the eye wash formula, you just start out with a couple drops and put it first in the cup because it's very strong, and then fill up a little glass with about an ounce of water. And you put it up to your eye and first test it a little bit. Put a little rag there if you're in your dress clothes and go, wow, there's water in my eye. And then chip it back and do some eye exercises, left and right, up and down, crisscrosses, circles to the left, circles to the right, and then pull it down and toss it out. Then take another cup, put 2 drops in, followed by an ounce of water, and then again test the eye, and then go through your exercises again. And when 2 drops is fine, then go to 3 the next day and 4, and you'll get to a point where you'll go, whew, this is a little hot, and it might make your eye a little red in the sclera, but that's called blood and circulation. And the best way to heal anything in your body is to get more blood and circulation there. And of course, if you have lots of beta-carotene in your body, take your superfood, get some good carrot juice in. Now you have beta-carotene and super nutrients and all the carotenoids in your blood, and now when you put the eye wash in, you're driving the blood to the eye, and your eyes are going to get better. I don't care if it's macular degeneration, I don't care if it's poor eyesight caused by stress, I don't care if it's cataracts, I've seen them all go away. And the eye wash is very potent and powerful at doing this. And there's other herbs in the eye wash that destroy infection. A lot of people have low-grade infections in the eye. And there's also nutritious herbs in the eye wash that are specific for feeding phytochemicals that the eye needs to grow and be healthy. So just getting in a routine of that eye wash, and for those of you that haven't done it, you got to try this one because it's really fun. Afterwards, you'll go, I've had an eye implant. I mean, if you don't see clearer and brighter after doing it one time, bring it back. I'll refund all your money. Well, they'll refund your money. They're wincing now over there. No, I guess a guarantee. You'll be shocked. You'll go, wow, I see better immediately. And that's just more blood getting to your eye. So the eye wash. And then I would check out, there's a lot of proof nowadays that show that stress in the eye and the muscle of the eye pulls our eye out of shape and causes us to not see as well. And so I would look into, there's a lot of methods like Dr. Bates' method of eye exercises and massage to relax the eyes a little more. And of course the other thing is, Philip, and I know that you're in a business of looking at computers and a lot of paper, there's a lot of people that theorize that naturally our eyes should constantly be focusing on mountains and our fingers and streams and sky and our foot and be going from far away to close up. And nowadays most of us have hours that go by in a day where all we're focusing on is here. And our eyes get fixated at that point and then they don't work very well. So quit your job, move to Tahiti, And do your eye exercises in your eye wash. Okay, number between 1 and 6. 1. Communication. And you're a master at that, but we can all get better. Remember, these are things that I work with all my patients to help them heal themselves. Because remember, it's not just superfood and good vegetables and fruits. It's not just, cleaning out your elimination organ with the detoxes. It's not just moving your body and taking hot and cold showers and using your cayenne. But it's also fixing your head. And when your head's fixed, getting it better. Every day I work on having clearer thoughts, more functional thoughts, more loving thoughts. Every day. At figuring this thing we call life out more. Every day. And I talk with Adam, the CEO of this company, every day. And we have conversations about this. Okay, communication. This is good. To get exactly what you want in life, you have to learn to communicate very clearly and very precisely. And my patients that were very sick were usually pretty bad at doing that. I've often, people have said to me, I want to travel. And I think, okay, what about if you're extradited to East Jerkwater, North Dakota on a murder charge and you've never been there? It's traveling. But you weren't specific enough, were you? You might go, well, I want to travel to a warm climate. What if you're extradited to China on grand larceny? Think about it. Were you being very specific? If you want tomorrow to be something, you got to believe and do today, but you got to be specific about it. And most of us aren't very specific. And being specific will create your outcomes. I once studied neurolinguistic programming, and they said that communication isn't complete until the person you're talking to understands what you're talking about. How many times have you said something to someone and you think you were very clear? They didn't hear a word you said. So communication is complete when they hear it. I say communication is not complete till you get what you want. And if you're not getting something that you want in life, you're not being clear enough and dedicated enough and passionate enough about getting it. A lot of people are afraid to be honest in their communication. I like people that come up to me and say, hey, you got a piece of spinach in your tooth right here. And, you can keep talking, but you look kind of funky. I like that. I like clear, honest communication. I don't worry about hurting people's feelings. And occasionally people decide to hurt their feelings about what I say. But that's their stuff if they want to do that, if they want to play that game. Clear communication. So many of us don't even know how far we can go with it. But I've had so much miscommunication in my office. I had a man and a woman in my office once. A woman came in, she said, we want to have a baby. We've decided to have a baby. And the man said, yeah. He kind of stood in the corner. And they were all, let's have a baby. So I said, okay, the woman start on the female tonic and the man on the male tonic. I've never seen this fail. And the woman started on the programs, getting herself healthy in the female tonic, and the man on the male tonic. And a week went by when they needed to get another bottle, and she ordered another bottle, but he said he still had some in his. The next week came, and she ordered another bottle, and he still had some in his. I guess he had one of those magic bottles. So when they came for their next visit, I said, there's only one possibility, sir. You either have a magic bottle or you're full of shit. And he, of course, I like to use words that are like cayenne, a little bit stimulate people into action. And good thing, I'm a 5th degree black belt in the martial arts, otherwise he might have kicked my ass. And I said, why don't I just leave you two alone together? And the battle ensued. In the office, I heard books being thrown and a lot of screaming. And as it turned out, he didn't want to have kids at all. That he was worried about the financial aspect. He had already had kids with a previous marriage. But people don't communicate. And so I want to encourage all of you to communicate clearer with the loved ones, the people you live with, your family. You know, sometimes it gets a little lonely. I think Buddha said the road to truth is a lonely road. But you know what? I'd rather have 5 friends that I can communicate clearly with than 100 people I bullshit with, right? Thank you. Anybody have something to share as far as a miracle? Yes, sir. Let's pass a microphone to this man. Is it with you or someone else?
Myself.
Yourself?
Yes. A year ago today,
Yeah.
a year ago, my name is Bert Best, by the way.
Bert, nice to meet you.
A year ago today, I was diagnosed with colon cancer.
With colon cancer.
Right. And the doctor told me I had and that it had metastasized to my liver.
Yeah.
And he told me that
Why don't you come up?
Oh, okay.
You mind?
No, I don't.
Come on up and share this with us.
Well, the doctor, should I sit here or what?
That's your seat, Bert. Don't look at the cards. I'll pick one later.
Well, first of all, when he told me I had colon cancer and it had went to my liver, first thing that went to my mind is I'm dead.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I'm a dead duck.
Yeah.
And he was so matter of fact with me that I had maybe only 4 years to live. Mm-hmm. And he said, I said, well, what do I need to do? He said, well, you need to come in and let us do surgery on the part of the colon. We'll cut that part out, and then we'll attach it back to the other part.
Mm-hmm. A resection.
And then we'll do chemotherapy and radiation with the on the liver. Mm-hmm. But even if we do the chemotherapy and radiation on the liver, the mortality rate would only be 2 to 3 years for you. Mm-hmm. So I asked him, I said, well, are there any other alternatives? He said, no, there are no other alternatives. He said, I'll schedule you, this was on a Friday, he said, I'll schedule you for surgery this coming Monday. You'll stay in the hospital for about 7 days, and then we'll start the chemo and the radiation on the liver. I called my wife in, and I told her what he said, and then we discussed it. And so I called the doctor back in. I said, just check me out. Just check me out. Prior to being diagnosed, we had signed up for one of your seminars last year, the one at the hangar in Santa Monica.
Sure.
So we went to that, and we listened to your presentation. So that was on a Saturday, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. That's Sunday we came in, and I got on your Incurables program.
Excellent.
And I went on a raw food diet.
Yeah.
And the doctors scheduled me for an ultrasound on my liver 3 weeks after I went on the program. Mm-hmm. So when I went in for the ultrasound, he did the whole thing with me, took about a half hour, and told me to get dressed. And just as I was walking out, the technician said to me, you know, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but there's nothing on your liver. And when he said that to me, I could have kissed his feet. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously,
he wasn't a medical doctor, or he would have said something very negative.
Right. You know.
Yeah.
Now I know he said only a doctor's supposed to tell you this, but the guy's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah,
and
he knows
what
his
he's talking
machinery.
about, you
Sure.
know. So I go, wow, you know. So after that, or since then, you know, she can tell you I come in almost every week, and I'm still doing the detox, and I'm still doing the Echinacea Plus and the liver gallbladder flush.
Great.
And I'm on nothing but raw fruits and juices. Okay, so.
Excellent.
what they want to do now, I asked my doctor if he would schedule me for another ultrasound for my colon, so he could check it out. He goes, "No, you still have cancer."
That's right. They're going to be like that. They're going to go, what's the point? Because remember, when a medical doctor says there is nothing else that can be done, if their language was correct, they would say, there's nothing else that I know to do. Okay? But instead of that, their ego helps them think that if they don't know, nobody knows. And so you've all heard that, or will heard that, or have heard it in the past, or have friends or relatives that have the doctors say, you know, I'm sorry, but there's nothing that can be done besides this. This is your only avenue. And they're just very myopic people. They haven't looked out the window much. They obviously didn't go to the market on Saturday or Wednesday in Santa Monica. They obviously haven't, you know, gone on the internet and looked up, you know, natural healing or other forms of alternative medicine. They're very constipated.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened with me, and he said the only way that he would do anything was to give me a colonoscope, and I was like, wow, I don't want to have him sticking anything up my butt, you know, and because that's what they did.
I can agree.
That's what they did when they determined that I had the cancer. Was they gave me a colonoscope.
Yeah.
And they were very insensitive about it, and I was not about to go through that again.
Good for you.
So I said, well, you know, I don't need them to tell me that I'm cancer-free.
Yeah.
My body is telling me.
Thank you. And you
I'm
get to that point. Awesome job. Awesome job. You get to that point where you really don't need to hear him say anything anymore. And I want you to know that takes a leap. You believe and you do, but it takes a place that you can get to yourself where you trust what you feel. You know what you feel like. Your body's healthier. He's probably healthier than you've been maybe ever.
Well, we went to a retreat about, what, a month afterwards? And we hiked up the mountains, and I did a 3-hour hike up the mountain.
3-hour hike up the mountain?
3-hour hike up the mountain.
Yeah.
And it was actually a 4-hour hike, but my wife couldn't make it, so I had to bring her back down.
Oh, wow, good for you. Yeah, so it's so important that, you know, I have so many people that have said, well, you know, I took your 5-day detox box to my doctor and asked him what he thought. And he said, I don't think it's a very good idea. Certainly, it's going to lose a lot of money if you do it. You won't be an average American and end up with diverticulosis. You know, don't ask your roofer how to fix the toilet in your house. A medical doctor knows nothing about natural healing, nothing about herbal medicine, nothing about the possibilities outside of what they trained for in medical school, which was pretty much as if you have a disease to hack it out. He was just doing what he was trained to do. And this is what's so important about this crusade. What I call my natural healing crusade is spreading the word that there are alternatives. No, there's nothing bad or wrong about medical doctors. If someone wants to go and have surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, pay $100,000 and do that, that's fine. I don't judge anybody. But it's important that every American is aware that they have an alternative, that every American is aware that they have an opportunity outside of medicine to heal themselves. And we don't quite have that in America. That's why I talk as much as I do. That's why I do the newsletters and the updates and the DVDs. And it's happening. Can you tell? It's happening across this country. Almost everybody you talk to is dissatisfied with their medical doctor. And they're looking in to some type of alternative. And there are many of them. And that's exciting. Yeah. So tell us something. We need to learn. Enlighten us on something. Now I'll put you on the spot here.
Well, I think what I learned from all of this was, first of all, a strong belief in God.
Yeah.
Walking in faith, because when I decided to do this, my family and my friends, some of them cried and said, have the surgery. do the chemo. I mean, not because they were worried about you.
Sure, they love you.
They were saying fruits and vegetables are not going to heal you.
Yeah, they loved you,
You know?
and they were scared.
Right. And I just asked them, you know, to just go with me on this.
Yeah.
Believe in me. And if you don't believe in me, I had to just push a lot of people to the side.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to
We had
let
to
a lot of
trash
people
them.
in my life
I don't mean
go.
that in a bad way, but
Right.
that's what I talk about when I talk about trashing.
Right, I
Sometimes
had
we
to
have
let a lot of people go, and anybody who didn't have the same spirit and the faith that I had in what I was doing, I didn't want to be around those negative vibes.
Absolutely. We don't
Okay.
need it. We can
So-
come up with plenty of negativity in life.
Right.
It's out there. We can turn on the television. There it is. In
Exactly.
3D living color.
And the other thing was that, you know, I love flavor and aroma of meat, dairy, and poultry. I love that stuff, you know. But it's what put me where I was. So the thing about it was that I learned from the illness itself. The illness, I wasn't mad at the cancer. I was upset with me for bringing the cancer on. It was really a blessing because it let me know what I was doing wrong in
Now,
my
do you
life.
hear this? The blessing, the responsibility. Yeah. This is how you get well. This is how you heal yourself, taking on that responsibility. And you know, cooked meats create carcinogenic chemicals that cause colon cancer. If you have any doubts about that, look it up on the internet. Go to the library. There's thousands of books and articles on it. Cooked meats create carcinogens that cause colon cancer. And so, you know, hey, very few people will walk by a barbecue and not think that it smells good. But smelling something that smells kind of good and putting it in your mouth are two different things. And then healing yourself and taking on what he did and healing himself in a powerful way. You know, in the 60s we had a saying, you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. There's no middle zone. He had to become a healthy person, every way, shape, and form, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I assume that you did a lot of bowel detox.
I'm still doing bowel
Still doing,
detox.
yeah. You know, I want you to know that I've had so many people with colon cancer that have done the bowel detox and gotten rid of it. And I'll tell you a couple stories just to give you a little more fuel here, because we all need fuel, don't we? And but I had one man that came to me who had a sigmoid scope like you had, the up the butt thing, and they told him that he had a 12-inch section of his transverse colon that was carcinogenic, and they needed to resection it and put it back together without that section. And he didn't like the idea of going through that drama and trauma. And he was a believer as yourself. And he had heard about the bowel detox. And so he did it 5 times in a row, which isn't a lot, really. We're talking about 5 weeks. But did other aspects of the program too. And he went back and had the second sigmoid scope. And when the doctor looked at the colon, it was normal again, but there was a little skeletonized piece of cancer. And when the doctor touched it with the probe, it just fell off his bowel, and he was healed. Now, we know that your T cells attack malignant cells in your body and eat it up to where the cancer becomes skeletonized, and that's one way it happens. And so I have so many stories of people with bowel cancer that have healed themselves, not only using the 5-day detox for the bowel, but all the things you did. But the most powerful things you said that I hear from you are about taking full responsibility, not blaming, not whining. Let's take it on. It's a blessing. Some people call it bumps in the road, and I always liked calling it jewels or gems, you know, or blessings. And
well, you know, let me just say this. One of the things that I looked at, you know,
that's what happens when people get really healthy is you cannot shut them up.
Well, my philosophy after doing a lot of research and doing your program, you know how you have a sore on your external body someplace? Yeah. And you do things to heal that sore? Well, I saw the cancer as an internal sore. I say, well, now, if sores on the outside of my body can be, why can't I heal this sore?
Absolutely.
It's
you
a
created
sore.
it.
Yeah.
you can get rid of it.
So that was my philosophy. I was going to heal this sore, you know, and I believe that I've done that.
You have. Let me see. Thinking here, which one? Let's try. Sometimes it takes me a minute to dial. Judgment. You chose that card. The definition of judgment is an opinion formed. I know that because I looked it up today. This will make sense in a minute or two. Well, give me two. Here's a judgment story. There was a man, very poor man, lived alone with his son, and his wife was dead. And they were incredibly poor, had no money, barely a roof over their head. And one day, out of the woods came a horse. And in this area, a horse made him a very prosperous man. And so he was very delighted that this horse just appeared for him. What a blessing. And the neighbors all came over and said, what a blessing. They had a party. This is such a blessing. And then he built a plow. Him and his son spent all their time and money building a plow for the horse to plow their field. And just as they finished it, the horse left, went away. And the neighbors came over and said, you know, we thought it was a blessing, but it was really a curse because you've wasted a lot of time and resources now making this plow. And the man said, well, you know, we'll see. And the next thing, in the spring, the horse came back with 10 more horses. And now this man was wealthy, and the abundance had come. And all the neighbors came by and said, you know, we at first we thought it was a blessing, but then we thought it was a curse. But now we know it was a blessing. Because look, you have 10, 11 horses now. And the man said, we'll see. And he put his son to work breaking these horses, training them so they could plow the field and do the farm work. And in the process, his son fell off and was trampled and broke his leg. And the neighbors came by and they said, you know, at first we thought it was a blessing. Then we thought it was a curse, but then when the horse came back with 10 more, we thought it was a blessing, but now we see it's a curse. And then their country went to war, and all the sons were taken to war, and they were all killed, except his, because he had a broken leg. And the neighbors came by and said, you know, at first we thought it was a blessing, but then we thought it was a curse when the horse ran away. Then we thought it was a blessing when the horse came back with 10, but then we thought it was a curse when your son broke his leg, and now we see it's a blessing. And the man said, we'll see. And the point of this story is we don't know. How dare we judge anything because we can't see the whole picture in life? So the moral of that story is to stop judging. But here's one thing that I have learned that I think is fantastic in my life. It's so simple, but it's so big. There's nothing positive about being negative. There's nothing positive about being negative. No healing will take place in negativity. And this is why very few people recover from anything with their medical doctors, because all it is negativity and a sore ass if they stick that thing up there again. When you have a thought in life, chemically your brain creates chemicals. And that feeling that you get when you're happy and blissed out, you know that feeling you get, your charge? Science calls that neuropeptide, brain chemicals that open certain windows. And you know that feeling you get when you're pissed off and angry and maybe someone cuts in front of you and you really wished you had those Star Wars laser things on your steering wheel and you want them dead for that second. And that anger you feel and that poison in your vein, that horrible feeling, that's brain chemicals, neuropeptides. Well, science has now discovered that on the surface of every immune cell, there is a neuropeptide receptor. Therefore, that means that your immune system is listening to and reacting to your emotional dialogue. Think about that. Your immune system is listening to and reacting to your emotional dialogue. There is no healing being negative. There is nothing positive that comes out of being negative. A patient of mine went to a psychotherapist and then came to my office right after. It was great. And she looked at me and she said, you know, my psychotherapist told me that all my emotional suffering is a voluntary process. Ooh, I love that. And then I thought about it and I thought, everything is a voluntary process. This is part of the responsibility code we talked about earlier. If you're told something like you have cancer, you're going to die in a day, hour, month, week, year, whatever, given a big negative piece of information, you can create what I often call like existential nausea, sickness about your existence. There's no way that you can feel what this man felt when the doctors told him that. They're basically saying you're dead. I know, because I've been told that. They told me I would be dead by the time I was 20 without surgery. I didn't have it. I'm a few years over 20. And so I know what it feels like to be given that death sentence. But that same death sentence can become fertilizer for the new plants you're going to grow in your mind, body, and soul. And so you have to learn how to turn that nausea around. You get after a while to where you can deflect it. After a while, you can see this man, you don't even want to know what the medical doctors have to say. Because you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, there's something wrong with you. Because they're comparing you to this fictional model in Gray's Anatomy book, okay, that is the perfect person. And you know what? You're not perfect. I can tell all sorts of things. You got a crooked tooth. You're not perfect. The guy's not perfect. So why go to someone who's just going to tell you all the things that are not perfect about you? The best way to tell how you are is how you feel and how you feel in yourself. Tomorrow is what you believe and do today. These signs, I know I put them up here to brainwash everybody that comes in. But they're realities that are powerful and can become powerful for you. I went to see another guru somewhere in the world, and someone was asking the guru, they were saying, you know, I'm always in hell. And they were going on about just being in hell and feeling like hell. And the guru, I listened for a half hour, and he said, you know, and the person said, what should I do? And he said, get the hell out. Okay? And I really got that. If you find yourself in hell, get the hell out. If you find yourself in a doctor's office who's sticking things up your ass that hurt, charging you a lot of money and telling you you're going to be dead, get the hell out. And don't go the hell back. And that's what this man did. And, you know, the things that saved me and saved him beyond God are some of the simplest, most common sense things. And so if you find yourself in hell, get the hell out. I did, he did. We're healthy, we're vital, and getting better all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Dr. Schultz.
Yeah. Thank you.